Good morning all, welcome to this week's Wednesday. I'm going to talk about domain names this week. I hope this doesn't turn into a bit of a rant on my part, but this week I've had loads of problems with spammers ringing me up. I've had 21 phone calls and about 36 emails asking me if I would like their help to build them a website. Because I bought a domain name last week, and as I say, all the various companies have rang me up and said, we can help you build a website for X, Y, Z, and we can do this, that and the other. And it actually gets quite annoying when the phone rings after 21 times and in the end you just say, no, I've already built a website, thank you. So a few words of warning about domain names and how to plan a domain name properly. I'm going to use the Heart domain name finder. GoDaddy's fine, but I've always found with GoDaddy that it might be £1 this year, but next year it's going to be a damn sight more. So the other companies who sort of offer more realistic prices in the first year do tend to keep more of a stable price. So let's look for the domain name and let's see what's available. So I'm going to look for wedding video. There we go. Let's see what that comes up with. It's going to probably tell me there's loads and loads that have been taken. Yeah. EU has been taken, .uk has been taken, .com. Okay, we have a .london, and then various other extensions we have from there, like .host and .scotland and .me.uk. So no matter what your no matter what your domain name needs to be, I would always place caution upon you if you see that the .co.uk and the .com is taken. I always recommend that you take the .co.uk and the .com. Now, this isn't because there's necessarily more money for me to be made, but what it is if you have the .co.uk and someone comes along and takes the company address, when people put in .com by accident, they're going to go to the other place. If people put in .co.uk by accident, and someone else has bought that name, again they're going to go to a different place. So I always recommend you buy the both, and you can point one to the other, so you don't have to build two websites. You just go into your domain control panel and you can point one name to the other. I would very much bow caution when these are taken, and I would try to find a different name. Don't be tempted, possibly maybe the London, or possibly maybe the Host or Guru or Solutions, because they are something different in terms of the extension. But don't be tempted with the .info and the .me.uk. And the reason why I say this is if someone's bought these two sites and they've paid a lot of money to have a website built, they're not going to take kindly to have you getting the .co or the .net or the .org or one of the others. And what may happen, because domain names, no one can stop you from buying them, the rules are still quite loose, but what might happen is the company who owns this and this might trademark them, and then you're really on a sticky wicket. So if you can, and these two are taken, try to think of a different name, or doing it in a different way, or adding your city on the end of it. So wedding videos, I say .london, but you buy that, but you could have wedding videos liverpool.com, and let's see if that's available. And there's a good chance it might be. Then at least you're not stepping on any other business's toes. Oh yeah, that's taken, but the .com's available. Once again, don't be tempted to take this. Only have it if it's both. Okay, so that's my tips on domain names. But now I'd like to talk a little bit about spammers when you've bought your name. This is WHOIS, and what this is the registrar for every domain name in the world, and you have to register it with WHOIS. In England we have something called Nominet, but it all still goes into the WHOIS. And your details, unless you choose domain privacy and pay the extra £5 or £10 or whatever it is for your domains, will end up on this WHOIS database. Now this is Wordshed, so this is me. So I've got my business address and my phone number, my email, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, because it's my business address. But if I was coming from a home address, I wouldn't be so fine. So sometimes it is well worth paying for the domain privacy. And here's another example of why it is well worth paying for the domain privacy. Apart from my rant a few moments ago about 21 people and 36 emails all ringing me to ask me if I wanted to build a website on my new domain name. This is an email I received a couple of days ago about a customer, because I've registered the domain name on their behalf, so it comes through to me. I'm sorry the scan's a bit wonky, but the reality is it went wrong, and I tried again and that one was upside down, so I've given up. Right, but this says the domain name.co.uk and then expiration SEO. Reminder domain SEO notice. You have one domain name SEO registration service pending. Failure to complete this order may result in cancellation of this offer. It's very, very convincing when you read it at first glance. It's only as you go into the fine print, and let's face it, who goes into the fine print, you see that this is completely not necessary and it's utter spam. Pay now for that period. Give me $86. Now this comes through at the same time as your domain name renewal will come through. Remember the WHOIS database? The WHOIS database that can you move that one? Can I move it? Yeah. The WHOIS database says when my name expires. I'm sure it's here somewhere. There we go. Expires. So I'll guarantee around about the 12th of September, I'm going to get an email from these guys. And if this comes through at the same time, you just think, oh, I might pay it. But please don't, because the reality is it's utter and utter nonsense. So you've got one domain name SEO registration service pending. Failure complete means your customers can't find you. What nonsense. It's got nothing to do with that. Let's have a look at the small print. And it is very, very small print. Okay, so it complies with the laws of the land. It gives them the registration. It allows you to opt out and stop receiving the notices. And then it says very small, we are a search engine optimization company. We do not register or renew domain names. Hello, you just asked me for $86. I might pay that. These things happen. And then, in the small print, again, this is not a bill or an invoice. Pay now is not an invoice. These have been very, very clever. And if you look at this, on the small print, they've covered themselves completely. But they can still get $86 out of you by sending a very convincing looking email. So that's my word of warning. 2 tips. Only buy domain names if all your extensions, i.e. .co.uk and .com, are available. And then the second tip is pay for WHOIS. Or if you're not going to pay for WHOIS privacy, then at least be aware that you're going to get 21 phone calls and 36 emails of people pestering you for them to build you a website, offering you all sorts of offers and being a real pain in the butt. So, thank you very much. I hope this has been helpful if you're about to buy a domain name, or even more so if it's about to expire and you get one of these daft notices. Please don't pay it. Thank you. Any comments, please just leave them underneath the video. Any questions, once again, leave them underneath the video and I'll try and help. Thanks a lot. Bye.